guys, it's Glenn from GlennCarCollection.com, and this is my 3-year review of my BMW M340i xDrive. Now, Glenn's new car is in. It was supposed to be a couple more weeks, and somehow it came in today, so it looks like this will be the last video with this car. The lease is up after 3 years. In this video, I'm going to tell you we're going to go for a drive, and I'm going to tell you what I like about this car, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you what I don't like about this car and what I would have changed this time around. Now, this car is a fully loaded, pretty much fully loaded 2020 model. Here in the Northeast, they're only sold with xDrive unless you order them otherwise. I know in other parts of the country, you can get it with rear drive. 0 to 60 time is 4.3 seconds. With the rear drive model, 4.1 with the xDrive model. I know a lot of Motor Trend Car and Driver, they got like 3.9 with this car. I believe it. It seems probably somewhere in there as far as it goes. So this has pretty much all the options, which we'll go over. So one of my favorite options here is sports displays. And what I like about it, it actually shows you your car and you can move it around. So my car is Portimao blue with a black Vinascar leather interior. So one thing I love about this car, the $1,500 for the Vinascar leather was worth every penny. On my previous cars, my E90 M3s, my multiple E46 M3s, I always paid extra or always found cars with the Napa leather in it because I thought that was a worthwhile option. So sport displays, we just click the button here, which is really easy to use, and now this will give us the boost, the horsepower, the torque, the whole bit. My M2 had this too with dials, and also if you notice here in the middle there's a G meter, and I believe if you hit the BC button on the stalk here, we get the same thing. There's a G meter in here too. So typically acceleration on a car, really fast cars, is about half a G, so 0.5 Gs. And braking is usually 1 G. The fastest cars in the world can probably brake with an air brake, like a McLaren, is probably like 1.1, 1.2 Gs. Gas mileage, let's talk about that. Who cares about gas mileage? But a lot of you guys ask. So gas mileage, somehow I've been averaging 27 miles to the gallon with this car. I forget what the EPA estimates are. They're probably somewhere around there. Probably 30 something on the highway, probably low 20s around town. Glenn likes to drive at mainly highway driving, probably 85 miles an hour on the Jersey Turnpike, and I'm still getting, 27 as an average. So that's pretty incredible. My E90 M3, I got 17 miles to the gallon, this driving the exact same way. Here it has like the lane keeping and the cruise control. It's okay. I just had a work trip to Atlantic City, so I had a long drive at night, and I used it so it could keep my feet off the pedal. Even though I got the eye controller here, I still have to touch it like every 30 seconds or so. So if I'm going to touch it, I feel like I should steer it. And a couple times where there's road construction on the parkway or the lane lines aren't that clear, it will not stay in the lane correctly. So it's okay. And again, this is a 2020. I'm sure it's improved for 2023 cars. But I think I'm a much better driver than the computer is, so I don't really have a need for it unless I want to getting a cramp in my leg, something like that. Heated steering wheel, which I love. What's great about this is it's right here. So on my M2 is on the stalk, you always had to reach, was it on the left side or the right side? Here it's right, front and center, easy to do. Heated seats, you have 3 different settings. They warm up really well. What I'd like to see is ventilated seats. I believe on the M3, because it's a little more premium, higher priced car, even though it's still a 3 Series, you can get ventilated seats. They are not available on the M340. So with the black leather interior, I probably wouldn't go with black again because when I'm working, I'm wearing a suit. And it's brutal if your car's out in the sun or in a hot, humid day in the summer. If you're wearing a suit and tie, and well, I don't usually wear ties anymore, but if you're wearing a full suit jacket and you got a black leather interior, cooled seats would be fantastic. Another thing I love about this car is remote start. So to mitigate the fact that I don't have ventilated seats, I could start the car, it'll run up to 10 minutes and it'll cool down. You can even preset like the temperatures and stuff like that. I'm not that sophisticated, so I don't do that, but you just press your key fob 3 times, it'll start the car. So it's great in the winter because you never have to worry once. This car's been outside because I have nicer cars in the garage. Not once did I have to scrape ice, which you would have to do probably all winter, January and February, every morning, scrape ice off your car. You don't have to do this because you have the remote start. Let's see, what else can I tell you about the car for likes and dislikes? Apple CarPlay is wireless, or it is, you can plug it in. So one thing about the plug here, it's good that you have the cup holders, but for my radar, I didn't have an adapter to fit in this European plug here, so I got like an extender, And this extender here, I plug in the radar to there, and I put up the radar there. So that's how I run that. No problem. Service has been free. So now when you buy these cars new, they're a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty, 3 years, I believe, 36,000 miles for service, but it is not transferable. So you want to get that slightly used M3, you would not get the free service. You know, gives you vehicle status and everything, so everything's good with the car. We have, I can tell you the mileage in a second. Now, it doesn't stay here unless you go through the menus. When you shut off the car, you'll see a quick blip of the miles, but unless you have this setting, you won't see it as you're driving. 28,768. So I got it brand new from BMW Tenafly, where I get all my BMWs. I leased it for 3 years. At that time, I still had a Jeep Cherokee, so I only did a 12,000 mile lease on this, and I leased it right at the time of the pandemic, and I still had like an extra 12,000 miles a year on the Jeep, so I figured between the two is 24. I usually drive a minimum of 25 to work. That's 10,000 commuting to the office, and then another 15 on the road doing showings. You know, I drive 30 or 40 or 50,000 miles a year between YouTube and fun drives on the weekends and all that other stuff. But for work, which is a work car, about 25,000, sometime in a busy year, 30,000. So I thought I had plenty of miles. I didn't drive it much at all, maybe 7,000 miles the first year. So that kind of saved me for the mileage in the lease. When I got this, I was afraid I was going to go over once I was done with the Jeep lease that I also had. But it worked out fine. We're under the miles here. So because it was 28,000 miles, at around 25,000 miles, the rear tires went. Maybe it was a little before that. And then the front tires that still have a lot of tread left, I hit a pothole on the turnpike that popped the tire. So it was run flat. I could fix that tire at my leisure, but it had a big bulge. So unfortunately with the lease, what didn't work out for me is I had to replace 3 out of the 4 tires. All right, so I think we could go for a drive. I wrote down here, because I always forget when I do a video, what I like and what I don't like. So obviously I said, let's see, likes, remote, and I write like a doctor. I have horrible handwriting. Remote start, very worth its weight in gold. You know, American cars have had remote starts for years. German cars, this is new to them. So most of the BMWs, like the M3, I think you needed a 2023 model even to get remote start, maybe 2022. But why I bought this car, I think it's a great looking car, as you can see there, because it doesn't have the big grills. So I think this is honestly the best looking 3 Series. The grills on the M3 have grown on me, but it is nowhere near as good looking as this car. Look at that. And I just love the 340, how it kind of has the mesh grills there, and I just think this is a phenomenal looking car. The reason I bought the car, besides the looks, is the engine. You get the 380 horsepower from that turbocharged 6, and it is fast. This car is, look at these cars driving by here. Well, we have a Tesla that's fast, but it's faster than 95% of the cars on the road. You're not going to see cars, you know, in this neighborhood, I guess you do see a lot of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, but most of the time you're not. So you really, in everyday traffic, passing people on the highway or around town, merging on the highway, you're probably one of the fastest cars on the road. All right, so let's take a little drive, because I think landscapers are coming here. And so that's certainly some of my likes for this car. Let me see, before we get on the road. There were a lot of likes around here. I said it was good looking. Portimao blue. I actually had BMW Tenafly trade for this car, because when I bought this car, which was May 1st of 2020 or June 1st, the factories were shut down. So they were making the ventilators because of the pandemic. So the only thing that was available was what's on the lot. And BMW Tenafly, I've gotten a bunch of cars from them. They just had black sapphire, which I love, but I don't like keeping it clean. Dravid gray, which I probably should have considered, because that's a gorgeous color, and then some kind of other gray. So what I did was found this Portimao blue at another dealer, and they were nice enough to do a swap for me. So probably could have got even a better deal if I bought something they had on the lot, but I had to have the Portimao blue, because I knew if I didn't get Portimao blue, every time I saw one, I would be jealous. It's allergy season here in New Jersey, so there's pollen all over the place. I tried to wash the car, but it looks supposed to thunderstorm, so I want to get this video out, because by the time you see this video, I may no longer have this car. let's get into some dislikes with the car. Now, I've done a bunch of ownership reviews. You can go through the channel. I have 1,000 cars reviewed total in the 5 years I've had the YouTube channel, which is a lot of videos. I probably have at least 10 videos of this doing maybe 6 months updates or things that I liked and options. So I try to do a different thing every time. So if I didn't cover it in this 3-year review, I covered it in one of the other videos. So just go back and watch that. So we're driving in sport mode now. As you can see, it's a little louder. There's an eco mode, which I've never used. I'm proud to say I've never used eco mode, and I've still got average 27 miles to the gallon without doing eco mode. The ride is really good. So one of the dislikes, my biggest dislike with this car, and it's easily fixable, is the run flat all seasons. When I drive my sports cars, if you follow the channel, you know what they are, with their sticky summer tires, I feel like I'm glued to the road. With this car, I feel like the tires are riding on top of the road, and I just don't have the grip. And I don't have the grip because they're all seasons and they're run flats. So the run flats give this car a pretty stiff ride. Not as stiff as, say, the new M3 on summer tires. I have a video of an M4 manual on the channel. That's a stiffer ride than this car with these hard as a rock run flat tires. But just something to note, if I had to do this lease over again, and I didn't want to spend the money because it was a lease, I would have gotten summer tires with the car, and I believe you have to order it to get it because I think they all come here xDrive with the run flat all seasons. I would have ordered the car, got summer tires, and then a dedicated set for the winters, and that probably would have solved my tire problem. So yeah, I would have spent more money. I could sell the snow tires used and get half of my money back probably with the wheels. And then I probably would have saved the 2 summer tires because they would only have been on 8 months a year instead of 12 months a year, because I would have had the winter tires on those 4 months. So we're going through a multi-million-dollar neighborhood here, so I'm going to put in comfort mode just so it's a little more incognito. You have the navigation right in between. I use CarPlay, so the CarPlay is I think I mentioned this already, is wireless, so you can plug it in. I keep the phone always plugged in here because it's easy to get water into this USB port, which I think would ruin your day and you'd short stuff out if you did that. Back seat, so this is the same size essentially as an E39 M5. So the back seat is fine. I can sit behind myself, and I am 6 feet tall. The signals are not annoying in this car. Our Acura RDX, the signals are so loud it drives me crazy, like if I'm stopped at a light. Not this car at all. Now I've tried the lane keeping, the cruise control and stuff like that. It's okay, which I've mentioned. It's fine. I just think I can drive better than that. But if you like that kind of stuff, then you should definitely click that option. To me, that guy took his half of the road in the middle. To me, the most important thing was the leather as far as option goes. This is a fully loaded car since it has a sunroof that I never really use. The only thing I do is I use it, I open it when the car's been sitting because hot air rises to get the hot air out. I made no modifications. I know you can put tunes and make big power with this car. This was a lease and I don't want to have any out of warranty repairs. Gauges I'm not crazy about. See how the gauges go. I like the analog gauges. I guess I'm so used to my E46 M3, that's how I prefer it. I don't like that the tach goes counterclockwise. I know that's like an Aston Martin, but to me it's not the most desirable thing. The Bluetooth is good when you're on making phone calls or having to answer phone calls. I guess the downside to that is if the air is on, the fan speed is hard, you'll get a lot of, fan speed is high, you'll get a lot of interference. It won't be that clear. Now, is this a baby M3 being an M Sport? I'm going to say no. I've driven the new M3 xDrive, I've driven the M4 manual, and that's a whole different level. It may have a similar steering wheel and similar layout and gauges and infotainment here, but that car is a beast of the car, and you can't compare, 500 horsepower with 300 horsepower. Now, would I buy this car again? Yes, I will actually miss this car. If I can get the same lease, so I'll go over a lease payment with you real quick. I got, for minimum down, I got a 3-year, 36 month lease, 12,000 miles a year for $595 a month, including sales tax. Now I think this car, because of the interest rates, and I got $8,000 off sticker. The sticker was like $66,000. I got $8,000 off, so that's why my payment was so low. I believe now, this car probably leases for about $800. And now the pandemic is over, I'm definitely going to be putting more than $12,000 miles a year. So unfortunately, I have to buy my next car. And I already have that car coming. So what we're doing now, just because I've been real busy with my real estate business and it's been great, that's what's allowing me to buy this new daily driver. I'm doing a new video every Monday, and then I'm look for shorts that I'm doing at car events that I go, or every Wednesday and Friday. So you're still getting 3 videos a week, 1 full video, and then 2 shorts. So make sure you subscribe. We're pushing 17,000 subscribers at the time I'm filming this. If you could all get 1 friend to subscribe and we can double that subscribership, then we'd have so many cool cars we can review. And all the money I make in this goes right back on the channel, whether it's cameras, GoPros. So the more we can make this channel, more income we can generate, the better we can get the channel to be. So that's it. I absolutely love this car. I would definitely buy it again. I would buy it again today. So why wouldn't I buy it outright? Well, anytime you buy a car, you finance it after you leased it, it always comes out more expensive than you bought it in the first place. I love this car, but I'd probably have to do another tire. I'd probably have to do front brakes soon. So I think it's better just to let it go now and get, like a certified pre-owned car. I'll give you a hint of the new daily driver. It has over 500 horsepower. So you could guess what you think the new daily driver is in the comments below. And that could be the next video you see. Probably by the time I edit this and put this up, this car will be gone. And it does have some equity in it, so I'll go over that too, what I got in over and above the lease buyout. So essentially I'm buying it and reselling it. I'm going to buy it out, pay the sales tax, resell it, and I'll still have some equity there, so I'll go over that video. But this is a great car. I'd say it's probably, as a daily driver, probably 8 out of 10. What I'd like to see is better tires, which you could fix. I'd like to see, this infotainment is easy to use, but I'd like to see a couple things there with, like, more better gauges like Porsche has, or Mercedes. I think they just do the gauges better. It's very hard to sync the climate control. You got to go into a menu and press a button to sync it. So if I want to put this down in temperature, it's not changing the passenger's temperature. And a lot of times when you restart the car, that somehow box gets unchecked and you got to keep going in there and sync it. So rather than always go through the menus, I just sync it myself here, which I press both buttons on both sides. I'd like to see ventilated seats. I think at this price point, you definitely should have that. I mean, it's 2023, for God's sakes. Remote starts, BMW, keep doing it. That's a very worthwhile option. Typically in these cars like the M3 or M5, you have to get the executive package, and that usually includes ventilated seats and remote start. And that's it. Any questions, let me know below. I love this car. I highly, highly recommend it. If an M3 isn't in your budget, or the ride is too harsh for you, or you don't need 500 horsepower, then I highly recommend getting the M340. It is not a step down. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.